Good morning, cadets. I welcome you all for the session 2021. And in brief, I would like to discuss with you regarding the curriculum for the class 11th. Course code is 083, subject name is Computer Science with Python. Now the question comes here, what are the requirements to study this optional subject? Let us see. There is no as such major requirements. However, your basic mathematical skills will be definitely make you to enjoy more this subject, and some knowledge of computer applications, like your computer games are also applications, or any other program written to solve the problem is a computer applications. So what is an application? Application is nothing but a computerized solution for a problem is a computer application. So many applications we can see in the field of education, in the field of medicine, in the field of sports, etc. Now, what are the learning objectives or outcomes of this subject? Basic computational thinking. We will discuss in detail about what is exactly the computational thinking, how it is different from computer science, and also what is the data, what are the data types, what is the data structures, how we will apply them in various situations, and also how to write an algorithm or a procedure to solve a problem. Then that algorithm or procedure will be written in a particular programming language. Next, of course, we should know the basic organization of a computer system, hardware, software, what is an operating system, etc. Then the cyber related terminologies like ethics, safety and crime, cyber crime, cyber safety and cyber ethics. Of course, how to make use of technology in today's society, we are going to see at the end of our main objectives of the curriculum. Now if we see in detail the entire curriculum for class 11th, and since 11th and 12th is an integrated syllabus, the computational thinking and programming, which basically involves the Python language, is divided into two parts, programming 1 and programming 2. 1 is in class 11th, 2 will be in class 12th. Computer system and organization, computational thinking and programming 1, society, law and ethics. These are the three units which we are going to see in class 11th. If you see the weightages of marks, majority 45 marks for the computational thinking, which involves your Python programming, which also consists of 50 theory periods and 35 practicals. For the practicals, I am keep on demonstrating here how to execute the programs, how to write the programs, how to compile the programs, how to get the output of the programs. But for that you need to practice in your home also. For that you should be installing a Python on your desktop or a laptop or in your Android device. Now others are hardly 10 periods for first unit and 20 periods for third unit. The majority of 85 periods, 50 theory, 35 practicals for computational thinking and programming 1. Now let us see what are the contents in each unit. In the first unit, we see the description of computer system, what is the CPU, what is memory, what is hard disk, etc. What is the terminology software, what are the types of softwares, how the memory units means how the data is measured using various units like megabyte, gigabyte, etc. Then we have some of the Boolean logic, exactly how the hardware works inside the computer system. And as we know that the computer system uses only a binary number system, we should also know how to write the numbers in binary, in octal, in hexadecimal, etc. And some of the encoding schemes like ASCII, ISCII and Unicodes are also the part of the first unit. Then we should know the difference between what is a compiler and interpreter. These are all terminologies I will explain you in detail, and of course the operating system. Then here the computational thinking and programming for the major unit. We start with the problem solving, how we will solve the problem, what is the cycle involved in it, how we design the algorithms, and how we convert them into flowcharts and pseudocode. The concept of decomposition, how it is used while solving the problems. Then we start with the basics of Python programming, how the simple statements are written, what is the how to getting started with the Python, what is the history of the Python, Python fundamentals, etc. Then these are the features of Pythons, then character set, tokens, comments, how we simplify the expressions, variables, how we will manipulate, knowledge of data types, operators, execution of a program, what kind of errors we will get while executing the programs. Then these are the programming structures used, conditional statements, iterative statements, how to debug. Debug in the sense what? Bug is a error, debugging is a technique of correcting the errors, that we will see. Then the other data types like lists, tuples and dictionary we are going to study in this unit. Strings, of course, once again tuples and dictionary in detail. Then function Python modules are also part of the second unit. The third unit, of course, the cyber safety, society, law, ethics and cyber safety. Safety, safely how to browse a web, what protection we have to take care, social networks, okay, then appropriate usage of social networks, common social networking sites we will discuss in that unit, and what are the specific rules are to be seen. Now safely accessing the websites, safely communicating data, intellectual property rights, privacy laws, technologies and society. These all things are the part of the unit number 3. Of course, the unit number 4 is our practicals. You need to total 30 marks for practical. It is divided into, if you see here, 12 marks for Python program, logic 60%, 20% documentation, 20% code quality. And of course, we have to prepare a report file of 20 programs minimum, and of 7 marks as for report file, and Viva Voce questions for 3 marks, totally 22, and then 8 marks for a sample project we have to do on the based on the Python concept what you have studied in class 11th. This is all about the curriculum what I have discussed now. Now let us see the first one. Which one? The unit number 1, computer organization, system organization, already we have studied. Now I am going to start straight away with the problem solving and decomposition chapter. Okay, what is exactly a problem solving? Yes? Can you think of any problem in front of you? Yes? The moment you understand the problem, then you start thinking how to solve it. That is what the problem solving. You just see here, there is a process of transforming the description of a problem into the solution of that problem by using our knowledge of the problem domain. Problem domain means what? How much we know about that exactly problem, how much reach we can have by relying on our ability to select and use appropriate problem solving techniques and tools. While developing a program, that problem solving refers to analyzing a problem with the intention of deriving a solution for the problem. What is the meaning of this now? If you understand the problem, 50% of solution is done. When you understand the problem, then what best strategy we have to apply, what method we have to apply in an efficient way, that we are going to see while solving a problem. Software development life cycle, that is problem solving cycle. Whenever a problem will be there, first we will see what are the requirements, how to analyze it, then design it. Coding is nothing but writing a program. You need to test the program whether correct written or not, then the implementation phase, and then the documentation. This is called as SDLC, that is software development life cycle. Every software development, this is the process that will takes place. For example, I want to develop a particular software, then I have to see the client, what is his requirements. The moment I came to know the requirements, then I start analyzing how to write a solution for that. Then I make a blueprint in the form of a design. Then we'll try to write the code, then test, implement, and document it. What the problem is in case of requirements, what is the need to solve it, what is needed to solve it, what the solution should provide if there are constraints and special conditions. Constraint means limitations. If there are any limitations and special conditions, how to meet them. What is analysis? To the problem, therefore, and the input media to be used. What is the kind of input we need to give to the program? Outputs expected from the problem, therefore, and the output media. Special constraints, necessity conditions, formulas, equations, these all we have to think of. Once the requirement is understood, this is all the process phases of analysis. There was exactly design. A design phase, the proposed solution without writing a computer program by using the techniques like algorithm, pseudocode, flowchart. These are the basic designing techniques. Once if you develop an algorithm or a pseudocode or a flowchart, we are going to see in detail about these in our subsequent classes. Once if these are ready, then you can write a program in any language based on these techniques. The only thing is you have to know the syntax of that particular programming language. Coding, process of transforming these algorithm or flowchart or pseudocode into a program using any programming language. That is, the output of the program what you will write will be the solution for the problem. The most important phase is testing. Whatever program you have written may not be 100% correct, may not be satisfying the client. Is the process of executing program to demonstrate the correctness. Verification is the process of ensuring that program meets user requirement. After the program is compiled, we must run the program, test, verify with the different inputs before the program can be released to the public or users. Implementation. What is exactly? It is the process of installing the software developed on customer site. Of course, we are going to develop a software for a need of a particular customer. There we have to install. Installation may be done by replace the entire manual work with the software developed, or running the manual and automated system in parallel, or installing only a part module with a manual work, because whatever software you have developed, the customer has to satisfy it. Sometimes there may be some kind of problem may arise while actually implementing. That's why sometimes parallelly the manual work as well as this will parallelly takes place. Then the implementation also involves training of software to the users. What is exactly the documentation is? Details produced at all stages can be done in two ways: comments between your line of codes, creating separate text file to explain the program. Important not only for others people to use or modify your program, but also for you to understand your own program after a long time. Now, what is exactly an algorithm is now? An algorithm is a list of the steps to be executed with the right order in which these steps should be executed. The algorithm has the following characteristics. Algorithm is nothing but a collection of steps written in the form of a procedure to solve a problem. Of course, it should have a fixed number of steps, otherwise it will become an infinite. Each step in an algorithm is specific to the action. It should not have any kind of dilemma or any kind of doubt. Its steps in an algorithm specify basic operations. It should have a provision to accept the data as an input. An algorithm generates one or more outputs once the input is processed. Now you can see the example here of an algorithm in a common problem to withdraw a required amount from an ATM. Okay, first step will be the start and last step will be the end always. What we will do, go to any local ATM, insert your ATM card, press the language button that you want to choose, enter your PIN code, press the type of account, press the cash withdrawal, enter the amount, collect the amount and collect the statement from the ATM machine if required. Then you will collect back your ATM card and you will exit from the ATM. This is what the procedure to how to withdraw a money from a ATM. That is written in the form of a procedure, what we call it as an algorithm. Another one, algorithm of getting out of bed and prepare to go to work. Very simple steps. Get out of bed, take your shower and get dressed. If the same steps are performed in a slightly different order, get out of bed, get dressed, take shower. What will be the result if you write in the same? Here, you are getting dressed, how you will take a shower? Means your steps should be in a proper order. Otherwise also it is a solution but not proper solution. Now, I am giving you the work of writing some algorithm. Think of it. Write an algorithm to accept two numbers, divide the first number by the second and display their quotient. Another one, write an algorithm that accepts distance in kilometers, convert it into meters and then display the result. The meters equal to distance in kilometers into 1000. As you know that 1000 meters equal to 1 kilometer. Write an algorithm that accepts 5 numbers and display the sum and average of the numbers. Here you do not have any programming knowledge required here. How you are going to think, how you are going to solve this problem, that is what. Let us look one by one. First, accept two numbers, divide the first number by the second and display their quotient. See the solution here. Start, get the first number, get the second number, divide the first number by the second, display the quotient and end. Example you can see here on the screen. 72 is the first number, 9 is the second number. 72 divided by 9, you will get quotient 8. Clear? Okay, now solution 2. What was that? Converting distance from meters into, from the distance given in kilometers into the meters. Start, get the distance in kilometers, multiply the distance by 1000, display the result of multiplication as a distance in meters. In algorithm, it's over. So 50 kilometers you have entered as an input, then 50 into 1000, 50,000 meters. 50 kilometers equal to 50,000. If you think of solution number 3, what was our? Get 5 numbers and get the sum and average. Step 1, start, get first number, get second number, get third number, fourth, fifth and all 5 numbers, divide the sum by 5, display the addition as sum and result of division as average. End. See, for example, we have entered 3, 1, 6, 2, 8, the sum will be 20 and the average will be 4 because 20 divided by 5 will be 4, hence the output will be sum equal to 20, average equal to 4. These are what we call them as an algorithm. Hope you are getting an idea how the algorithms are written for a given problem. Now let us see about the flow chart. What is a flow chart? It is a diagrammatic representation of an algorithm. This will be more easy to understand. A graph used to depict or show a step-by-step solution using symbols. The symbols used consist of geometrical shapes that are connected by flow lines. An alternative to pseudocoding, whereas a pseudocode description is verbal. A flowchart is a graphical in nature. We will see the pseudocode next to it. What are the advantages of flowcharts? Analyzing the problem effectively, it acts as a guide during the program development phase. It helps easy debugging of errors. A lengthy flowchart may extend over multiple pages. Drawing flowchart is time consuming. The changes made to a single step may cause redrawing the, of course, every matter will be having a advantages as well as disadvantages. We will think positively. What are the advantages of the flowchart? Now, what are the symbols used in the flowcharts? Let us see here. First one is beginning and end points of an algorithm in the form of an oval. Basically, it is to show an instruction other than input, output, or selection. We use a rectangle. A parallelogram is used for input and output purpose. Disk storage with that symbol. Then printer output is another symbol. The selection is a what we can use is a their diamond shape to show the selection process for two-way selection. Then off page connector to provide continuation of a logical path to another page. Then on page connector. Off page means from one page to another page if you go. On page means if you are remaining the same page and want to continue. The flow of lines in all the four directions will have. Now let us see the flowcharts for the algorithms which we have earlier written. You can see here the connectors A is written here because your solution is in the or your flowchart is in the same page, on the same page. Okay. Now go to any local ATM, it is a process. Then you are inserting your card is a input, that's why in parallelogram. Press the language button is a process. Enter the PIN code number is an input you are giving. Then press the account button from which you want to withdraw the money. Press the cash withdrawal button. Then you are going to enter the amount once again in a parallelogram because you can see your input will be in parallelogram. Collect the amount from the ATM machine, it is also a output now, and collect the statement from the ATM machine is also output, and collect your ATM card and stop. That is what the algorithm for the flowchart for the given problem of drawing a money from ATM. Okay, next, to accept a number and increment by 1 or I, anything you can say. Start, accept a number, add one to the number, display the number and stop. So what kind of symbols you are seeing here? Oval, start and stop, input parallelogram, processing rectangle, output display parallelogram. Number is even or odd. This problem can be solved based on the condition that the number should be divisible by 2. If the number is divisible by 2, display the message is even, otherwise it is an odd. See here once again, start, get a number, divided by 2, is the remainder is equal to 0, parallelogram, your diamond shaped decision making, yes, display the number is even, no, display the number is odd and stop. Once if you display it as a even, you will come to end, or once if you display as a odd, you also come to end. Only one path will be followed, either yes or no. Now I will give a homework for you to calculate area of a rectangle, to enter any number and check it is divisible by 7 or not. For these you will write the flowchart. Now pseudocode and subsequent things we will discuss in the next class. Let me recap what all we have studied so far. I have discussed about the total curriculum, then what is the problem solving, what are the steps involved in problem solving, okay, and then what is an algorithm, how to write the algorithms, okay, and then what is the flowchart, what are the symbols used in flowchart. Okay, I will continue the pseudocode in the next class. Okay, thank you boys.